Hello, CYS fans. We are back and on the challenge field. As you can see, the players have lined up behind me and will be facing off in another tribal immunity challenge shortly. Our host Cam just answering some last-minute questions before heading on over to explain the challenge to us. So I will go ahead and give y'all a few moments to file on in here. In the meantime, let's take a look at the players. All right. Over here we have our new Nedic tribe consisting of Brad, Kevin H, Ty, Louie, Drew, and Zoe. They will be facing off against New Quaddy, which is Meg M, Ale, Molly, Dylan, and Jessica, as well as New Grindel, which consists of Katie, Cam, Dan, Kevin R, and Bennett. Let's head on over to host Cam so he can let us know what this challenge is.
Sure.
And what's going on.
Our tribes are going to be competing 1v1v1 in various heats to unscramble a Morse code clue. So they will be running to a board that has the entire Morse code alphabet on it, coming back and trying to decipher this. These are scrambled words. First person to write the unscrambled word on their board and ask for a check will win that heat. That person will stay in the challenge. The other two players will be eliminated.
Ooh.
We're looking for one tribe with players remaining in the challenge. They'll be going in a line, so they'll have to stay in the same order the whole time.
Spicy. I love this take on a heat. This will be fun to watch.
Okay. Nedic getting their first look at the new Quaddy and Grindel tribes. Nedic, I will take back immunity.
What if you didn't?
I might not. There's always a chance.
Drew bringing the
all right,
idol
immunity
on
is back up for grabs. As you all know, there will just be one tribe gaining immunity in this challenge, meaning two more people will be eliminated after this tribal, or after the next two tribals. Okay? The next order of business is Nedic. You have one extra member, so you'll be sitting someone out of this challenge. Who will that be? All right, Ty is going to sit out. Can stay in the shade over here. Everyone else, come line up at the tables.
All right, and with that, our players are heading on up to the challenge field to get set and ready to compete in this 1v1v1 battle.
One final note to everyone. So we are going to have Nedic over here. Quaddy in the
There's
middle.
some interesting strategy to
Grindel
this
over there.
challenge. It's kind of a thing of, do you want to
You're gonna
send
stay in
out
the
your
same
very
order.
strongest
First person can be
player
at the table
and have
facing,
them go
you're doing
against
it right.
everyone
Facing
else's
over here on this
strongest
side of the table.
players? Or do you want to
Your
maybe
first
send your
person.
weakest player out who
Put
will
yourself
definitely
in order. You
lose
have to
against the
stay
strong
in that
people?
order. Okay, if we run through the line again.
But
Okay.
then maybe you're
Now,
bring your strongest
one
out to
final note
verse
for everyone.
against someone
When
who
you're
isn't
going
as
to
strong.
check the alphabet, run
Or maybe you just want to
under
beast it.
the arch. Not around it, okay? Under the arch for everyone.
All right, Cam just giving some last-minute clarifications on this challenge before we get going. Looks like our first players have now stepped up to the table and will be facing off head to head to head. Looks like we've got Louie for New Nedic,
We're going to place it down on your
Ale
table.
for New Quaddy, and Katie for New Grindel.
Placing it down on your table. Yep, and just a reminder, the blank space
These
will
three
be on the
players
top, so if
fighting
it ever
to
gets
win so that they can stay in this challenge and
we're
compete all
putting
over
it under
again.
your board a little bit, so it shouldn't blow away. And then it's your responsibility any second time to make sure it is trapped under your board, okay? All right. We have Louie, Ale, and Katie in our first heat. Sure, I know it. You got it? Okay. Our first heat is ready. Survivors, go! All right, different strategies here. Katie going right out to the alphabet. We have Louie and Ale trying to memorize as much as possible before heading out.
All right, let's take a look at what these players might have been looking at
Now we have
here.
all three at the
We
board.
have some different Morse code letters here. Of course,
Katie, let's see how much they were
if
able
they
to remember.
do not know it, they are going to have
at
to
the piece before
race
starting.
out to the alphabet to
So unless
act
they
as a
memorize
cipher.
26,
So let's
it's going to be a little
head on
difficult.
over to see. For those of you just
Ale and
joining,
Louie at the board right now.
this is going to be a challenge where tribes will face off 1v1v1. If you saw moments ago, the players had different Morse code letters on their strip back at the table. The key to the Morse code is back here, and players have to run back and forth to determine what letters might match up with their Morse code. They will then have to unscramble them to form a word, get that word on the board, and they win and stay alive. This is a little bit different than other heats. Typically in this challenge, you might get, score a point for your tribe. In this case, it'll not be points. It'll be that if you win, you stay in this challenge and do it all over again. And you want to have players remaining because anyone that loses is eliminated and cannot go again in this challenge. So we've got Louie that's made, I think, several trips back and forth to this board here. Katie as well. Let's head on back over to Ale and check on the progress of these players.
Ale, make sure you're going underneath. You're good. You're good.
All right, Louie running back up. Marking some letters down above this Morse code.
Like everyone's got some letters.
Deeply concentrated. All right, Ale over here.
It's hard to tell.
A little bit of a different strategy, marking these letters on the board instead of on the sheet. Ale running back now to fill in another couple letters. Now going to be
Ale
potentially
feels like they
unscrambling
have
if they are correct.
everything. If they are correct, and is now working to unscramble the word.
Let's check in
Make
with
sure
Katie.
there are no sounds coming from
Looking
their
like
tribe
perhaps
mates.
Katie has a double confirmation system going with some checks and
Louie
some
back now.
questions. Interesting different strategies by all three players. Ale and Louie still here at
Louie
this
heading back
table.
out.
Louie heading back out. Katie coming
Another
back
time.
in to fill
Katie
more
back.
on her board or maybe make some changes.
Ale with a chance to unscramble this and win.
Some more checks go down on Katie's board.
Ale head in his hand, and Louie back out. Feels like they might have something wrong. Coming back quick. They were just checking something.
All right, let's check in with Louie again.
Looks like Katie might be working on unscrambling.
Check.
Correct. Wow.
And Louie gets
Louie.
it. Stays alive in this
My
challenge.
friends at home will enjoy this.
With the first right answer of Wicked.
How
All right.
appropriate, given his
Erase your board,
charity.
step up to the table. You're going to face my direction when you're at your
All
table.
right, stepping up to the challenge field for New Grindel
Stand
is
over here if you're
Cam.
eliminated.
We'll be facing off against
so we're
Dylan
not
for
in
New
line.
Quaddy and not staying in this challenge if you win.
You are staying if you win, so Louie is still in.
But Louie doesn't have to go again immediately?
No, not immediately.
Oh,
Yep, but
okay.
they'll go to the end of the line, and if we cycle
I see.
through again,
My bad,
Louie will get
viewers.
to go.
I thought
Yep.
they had to stay and keep going. That I'm glad that they don't, and they get
All
to
right.
rest if they win.
so we
That's a
have
nice little reward.
Cam versus Dylan,
My bad, y'all.
versus Drew on this heat.
All right.
Two
And
tribes are already down to 4.
Drew,
Survivors
for
ready?
paramedic, the
Go.
third participant. All right.
All 3 this time, making sure they look at what is on their paper first before heading out.
All right. Drew running on out here already.
Everyone heading.
Dylan and Cam not far behind her. Players have to go underneath this archboard. They cannot go around. All right. Dylan intently looking at this answer key. Drew and Cam got a much quicker glance before heading back. Drew already coming back for a second look.
And back. Dylan
quickly
back.
scanning
Got a
this
second
Morse
time.
code key.
Like everyone on the side here.
Cam back again,
Trying to memorize as
maybe
many as
kind of
possible.
talking to himself to remind himself of what he saw. And out goes Dylan to take another look. Drew again out for the third time, I think.
Cam back. Dylan heading back.
Dylan coming back. This
Drew out
challenge
at the
can be
board.
exhausting. You have to weigh whether or not you want to spend time standing there for longer or
This one
taking
looks to
shorter
be
looks,
8
but
letters
running
long.
back and forth longer.
A little bit longer than the first heat. More things to memorize. More things to make sure you got right.
Dylan writing quite frantically on his
Dylan.
board over here. Has a
They
lot
might
of
have
letters
all the
down.
letters. No,
Are
they're
they
still going
right?
back out.
Let's
Drew's
check
coming
in with Drew on
And
her
back to the
progress.
board.
She has several letters, potentially just one away,
False alarm on that
and
one from
ran
Dylan.
right on back to the board there. And let's pop over to Cam's
They're
board and
all at
see
the
what he
board right
has
now.
going on. Potentially
Drew coming
maybe
back.
just one or two
Does
away.
she have the missing bits of information here?
Drew now back. Let's check in with her. Let's see.
Drew working on unscrambling. Let's see if they have everything right. Looks like Dylan's working on unscrambling. Cam has to go back. Still missing some information.
Drew writing and erasing, trying to
Cam back.
unscramble these letters here to form a word, but she has to have the right letters in order to spell the right word.
Dylan going back
Dylan
out.
not feeling like he has all the letters yet, racing back out to see, and quickly coming on back here.
Drew feeling confident. They have all the letters, trying to work out the word.
Looks like Dylan maybe capping the marker, but
Correct.
Cam gets it.
Seemingly in last place that entire heat. Wins it for Grindel.
This
The word was
time the word was
Portland.
Portland, which is the largest city
All right,
here in the state of
two,
Maine, where we
first
are
people that
coming
walk
to you
that
live
heat can head over
from.
here to my left. We are down to 4-3. Meg
All
versus
right.
Kevin R versus Zoe. Quaddy really needs a win under their belt at this point to level the playing field. Waiting for your papers to get placed. Survivors ready? Go!
All right, players whipping
All
around,
three
taking a look at their
advisors
Morse
looking
code.
at the
Zoe
letters
looks
first.
and almost immediately takes off
Zoe,
to the
first one at the
races,
board.
heading on over.
Didn't
Meg
really
now running over
wait a long time.
with Kevin R behind them both. Zoe already heading back out to her board,
Zoe back first.
looking
I don't
very
know how many
determined
letters
as
Zoe
she
could have looked
runs
at
this
before
way.
they left off, but looking like they're trying to write a few of them here.
All right. Meg now back with her first shot at getting some of these letters marked down.
Kevin at the board for a long time. See if that pays off. It's a
All
memory
right, writing
challenge.
4 letters with 1 shot so far. Taking it in
Kevin
again.
Took a long
Kevin
time
using
at the
some
board. I
hand
believe Meg and
symbols
Zoe have been back twice before Kevin's been back
to
once.
maybe remember things. Not entirely sure.
Can you remember more?
Or maybe he's
than
just
your
really into
opponents here?
peace.
Get to the unscrambling part first.
Kevin
Meg
has
back.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 letters. If he is correct. Meg now back filling some more letters in. Has 5 so far that she's written down, and that would be 6. Erasing 1 though.
Zoe heading back. Kevin heading
Go,
back.
Kevin.
Let's check in with Zoe here.
Meg has a lot on the board. Don't know if it's
We're
right.
taking one final look and then
All
heading
three
back
have a
on
lot on the board.
out.
Don't know if it's right. You can catch the mark.
Kevin racing back to his board. Let's head on over to him.
Meg heading back. How fast I had to get out of the way. Zoe heading back. Players running all around.
I'm staring at his letters there.
Check.
Writing
Sorry.
something
Check,
out
time.
furiously.
Correct.
And gets it. The word
Back-to-back
was
wins for
pine
Grindel in this
cone.
challenge.
Nicely done. Wrote it in one shot.
Meg and Zoe now are out of this challenge. We are left with just 2 remaining tribe members for Quaddy before they are definitely heading back to Tribal Council. We've got Bennett, Jessica, and Brad facing off this round. Just getting your papers aligned.
They really are, Evan.
Showing the answer. Okay. All right. A lot at stake here. Quaddy needs a win. Real bad. Survivors ready? Go.
All right, and whipping around to check out their
Everyone
boards are
turning,
Brad
studying,
and Jess, who now are quickly running out. Bennett not
Jess
far behind them.
and Brad out there.
Taking their
Bennett there.
first look at this answer key.
There you go. Thank you. Brad, raising that.
Trying to get out of the range of the players so I don't interfere.
Jess really studying the board.
Jess almost running, stops herself. Starts again, stops again, and away she goes. Away Bennett goes as well. Brad now taking his second look at this key over here. For those just joining, we are doing a challenge in heats. Players looking to win and stay alive in this challenge. All right, Brad heading back out. Let's go on and check in on every player's progress so far.
So you need to make sure you have the right letters on your board.
It's
Scramble's
like
not going to make any sense.
Bennett has written 3 letters down out of 6.
Got a lot on the
Jess
boards
has
here.
written
Jess and
4
Bennett heading
out
back
of 6.
out.
And Brad has
Looks
written
like Brad going back
5
out maybe 1 or 2 more times.
out of the 6. So if Brad has it right, he is currently
Everyone
in
at the
lead.
board right now. Bennett heading back. Do they have everything they need?
Bennett with Jess not far behind
Jess
him.
coming back. Brad not far behind.
Jess
Brad
filling
right back
in
out, didn't write anything back.
what are
Same with Bennett.
potentially her last 2
Retake
letters
over there.
if she is correct.
Looks like Jess is trying to unscramble. We have Brad back. Bennett back. Jess back to the board.
Jess
Brad working on
going
the
to double check
unscramble.
her letters. Brad staring down at the
Bennett
letters
also working
before
on the
him.
unscramble.
Bennett erases a letter and
Who's
heads
the first
back
to be able
on
to figure this
out.
out? Bennett heading back out.
Jess coming back
Feels
in,
like something might be
erasing a
incorrect.
letter, writing a new one, and now staring at the board again.
Who does the
Brad and
daily
Jessica
unscramble?
both
for the New York
hoping to
Times?
solve this.
Really help out
And
at
stay
a time
alive.
like this. I'm never smart enough to do that. Spelling bee might be a good one. Who's getting genius every day on spelling bee? All 3 are working on the unscramble now. It feels like they have all the correct information. It's just down to who can get the word written down first.
Block the second
Who can get the word down first?
All 3 players intently staring
one
at
is
their
just
letters, hoping that
6
this word will
letters.
come to them, hoping that these letters are
Shorter words
correct.
than last time. No one is seeming to make much progress. Just
Brad not
staring
feeling
at the
like his
letters.
brain is working. The intense heat and a lack of nutrition might just do that to you. This is day 3 of this game. Players have spent 2 nights out here and the better portion of 3 days. It is hot and the pressure is on. Brad calls for a check.
Correct.
And he has it. The word this time
Brad,
is ambush.
correct with ambush. Molly is the last one standing for their tribe. Can she go on impressive run here. We've got Kevin. We've got Molly. We've got Dan placing your word sheets right now. Molly, if there was ever a time to dig deep, it's right now. Four players to 3 players to 1 player remaining. We're just checking our answers.
All right,
Great.
so we have Dan for New Grindel,
All
Molly for New Quaddy, and
Survivors
Kevin
ready?
H for New Nedick facing off.
Go! All 3 turn around.
All right, they are now assessing their letters. Looks like Dan
making
already
some
filling
notes, and
some
Molly making some
in.
notes, and Dan making some notes without even looking at the board.
Wow, perhaps they've
I
been
don't know if they did this ahead of time,
observing.
or maybe they've been watching some of the previous puzzles.
That is a
Trying to learn a little bit.
spicy
Sneaky.
thing they're doing.
Kevin back.
Kevin back first
Dan
from
back.
the answer
Molly
key. Dylan not
taking
Dan.
her time at the board.
Dan not for
Molly back.
Molly as well.
Quaddy on the verge of elimination here.
Dan heading back out to check out that answer key.
But this
So
is
far
also
has
important for
6
Nedick.
letters written
The
down.
walk here makes it potentially 4 to 2 in
Molly
this challenge.
also has 6
putting them
letters
at a
written
severe
down so
disadvantage.
far. And Kevin H has 5 written down. Coming back on, hoping to fill out some more letters here.
Kevin back at the board. We have Molly and Dan at the alphabet. Molly coming back.
Molly racing away to get some more letters. Kevin as
heading
well.
back. Molly.
Dan now
Kevin.
writing
Dan
things
writing.
down.
Check.
That is correct.
And the word was
Immunity.
immunity.
I
But
checked
they
the letters,
all
make sure
were
it's spelled right.
hoping to have.
Unfortunately,
challenge.
Molly has been eliminated, meaning Quaddy is one of our 2 tribes heading to Tribal Council. 1 more of you will be going to Tribal Council. We are now in just 2-person heat. It's a 4 to 2, 3 to 2 advantage. Are we missing one?
I don't think so.
3 to 2 advantage, sorry. 3 to 2 advantage for Grindel. Papers have been placed. Survivors ready.
Cam facing off against Louie in this battle.
Louie versus Cam here.
1 tribe will win immunity. 1 tribe will head to Tribal Council.
Both have
Neither
seen the
of them
board
want it to
before.
win.
Cam trying to write as
Cam
much
running
as
with
he
his
can
marker
before going to the board.
out to the key.
To now review the letters.
Louie writing something down, then erasing it before heading on out. Cam now back. Cam writing several
back.
letters here.
Cam taking a long
And heading
time
on
at the
out.
whiteboard.
Louie writing
Louie putting as much information as he
teeny
could
tiny
remember
letters
down.
down here.
Louie,
And
this
away
is an
goes
important
Louie,
run.
and back comes Cam.
Does not want to leave Brad alone to fight for Nedick. Cam heading out, hoping to
Louie
avoid
heading
Tribal
back.
Council.
With a few more letters.
Louie focusing.
He
Heading back
fills
out to
in
the
1
board.
and heads back. Has 5 written down,
back.
potentially 3 left to go if they're right.
Cam is working potentially on the unscramble, but is going back out.
Cam going back, despite having lots of letters written down. Erasing
Louie races
1.
back. for letters.
And hoping to solve
Cam
here.
solving, potentially.
Louis has several letters written down, but not
Cam
all
is
of them
unscrambling,
so
but
far.
it's still wide open, Louis. Do not give up. You need this one. Louis back at the board.
Cam has now picked up his
And
Morse
still
code sheet
unscrambling.
from where it fell onto the ground and heading back out again to potentially check on some letters.
Cam double checking something.
Cam running on back. Louis still out there.
Cam back
Heading
first
back
on
as
that one. Louis was
well.
at the board for a long time.
And heading back out again. Cam heading back as well. This is
Everyone heading back
turning
and forth.
into
A lot
quite
of
the
laps
back and
here for
forth
both of
here.
them. They've already gone once. It's a hot day out here. The physical and mental challenge here. Cam back.
Louis maybe erasing a
Louis
letter. I
seemed
couldn't
to have
tell.
been fixing a few things
Two
that might
left,
be wrong.
perhaps. Cam has now erased what he had written up on the top of the board earlier. Now taking the thinker's pose as he takes in these letters. It is a hot day. These players are dripping with sweat, as are all of we. All of us?
Yeah.
All of us.
All of us. I can confirm. Louis still working.
Louis with a little head tilt
Cam coming back.
before heading back to the
Louis back out
key
to the
for what
board.
maybe could be the final time with one letter not filled in.
Cam seems to think something's wrong, but feels like they've double checked almost everything.
Cam with a lot of check marks over here on the board above these letters.
What if I just don't know it?
It's a word you definitely know.
And heading back out.
It is a 8-letter word this time.
This is a lot of back and forth. This word is 8 letters long. They have definitely been to the board more than 8 times each at this point.
Cam
Checking
struggling
with
with
Louis, who now has a letter above every Morse code thing.
might have a lead in terms of the letters.
Really,
Louis now
really solid commentary
feels
over here
like
on the stream
they're
right now.
on the unscrambling portion.
Cam has letters written down.
Louis heading back out. Double, triple, quadruple checking every letter to make sure they have what they need to unscramble.
Louis back. That was a very quick jaunt out and back to the answer key.
That is correct. Cam spiking the Expo with a resounding victory, leaving Nedick with
Cam
just
yelling, "Y'all
one
are awful,"
person
before
remaining
calling
to
out
word
check on the word conflict. And Cam collapsing on the rocks. What?
Brad is hoping to prevent his
Brad
tribe
looking
from going to
calm
tribal.
and focused.
Brad will have
Trying to lock
win
in on this
3
challenge.
seats in a row to prevent Nedick from going to our next tribal council. Our papers are placed. Our survivors are ready.
Our live streamer is icing
Go.
herself with the pack she forgot she had. And Kevin R. taking his time here with the board, filling in some letters. Brad already made a mad dash to the answer key and heading on back.
Brandon thinks this is a good word.
Brad with 3 letters written down.
Brad
Repeating
heading out,
dots and
Kevin heading
dashes to
back.
himself
Kevin
as he runs
looking to
out.
secure the victory.
Kevin with
Prevent
2
Grindel
letters,
heading back
now
to
making
Tribal
it
Council.
4.
They just went. They're down to 5, hoping not to go down to 4.
This is quite a
Brad
back and
racing
forth
back.
here. Brad running so fast he almost runs into the table but stops himself quickly. So for those of you just joining in, wondering where the 3rd tribe is and why they aren't competing, they were already eliminated from this challenge, just could not get a win. So they will be going to Tribal Council. These tribes that are competing are now looking for the win and immunity. It is down to just Brad for New Nedic
Brad back again.
versus 3 players still alive in this challenge for New Grindel.
Brad with a lot of notes on that piece of paper.
Brad with 7 of the 8 letters potentially written down. Let's check in with Kevin R over here.
Kevin has all the letters, is going to try to unscramble.
Kevin has 8 letters written down for this 8-letter word.
One 8-letter word stands between you and immunity.
Kevin R writing something down, then erasing it almost as quickly. Brad heading
going
back
to
on
check
out.
Something, but does appear to have all the letters written. Doesn't feel confident in them.
And back he
Brad back
comes.
quickly. Woo! Sweat pouring off both of these competitors. A lot of running so far.
Some little grunts of frustration from both players here in this heat. Brad writing several letters down here along the side of the board.
Brad going vertical might be the right strategy.
Kevin R erasing everything he has written down at the top of the board here.
Slates on both sides. This challenge could be over in the blink of an eye. It's going to click for one of you. And Brad extend this challenge.
Kevin R writing something down again at the top of his board. Brad now
to close the door here.
Has these letters written out both horizontally and vertically, hoping maybe something will.
Sort of sweat on everything.
One of them have to work.
Doesn't want to drip on the letters and erase them. Ooh, and now we're blessed with a little bit of cloud coverage.
I don't believe that's a word, but it's a group of letters for sure. Both players looking to find clumps, it looks like. What letters go together?
Kevin R shaking his head, not looking too pleased.
To pick up Wordle when they get their phone back.
With his head in his hand, whether from a woe is me or a just physical support for himself, not sure.
They both feel real confident in the letters.
Now tapping his head like Winnie the Pooh, saying, think, think, think. How appropriate that he's in yellow for that. Let's check back on in with Kevin R.
A lot on the line here.
Kevin potentially realizing something, potentially not. No.
Either side with anything really written down.
There's been several write-outs and erases on both sides of this.
Check. Doesn't feel confident about what's on this board.
Kevin doing a little fake out there.
Going back to board, going back to the alphabet.
Flinching again,
That wasn't bad.
just to mess with us.
I didn't solve it as is.
Both players now back out to this answer key. Brad exclaiming, "Geez Louise," seems frustrated, now running back on over.
Frustration in this challenge. Didn't make any changes when they got back. Must have been frustrated that they had everything right.
Dottie Jean at home saying, "Who can think in that heat? Not any of us, surely." What seems like an easy little word scramble is a totally different animal in this super hot heat and a super high stakes competition.
We've been out here for nearly 48 hours at this point. The exhaustion, the hunger, the heat, all combining.
The reminder of all those things.
To prevent you from solving this.
Kevin now with several checks and a long line across the bottom of the board there.
I've been working back on the clumping strategy.
Terry wanting to know, can players confirm letters are correct? They can if they go back to the board and really diligently stare, but they are in charge of their own destiny here. They must be the ones to get these correct letters. It is all on them.
Sweat literally dripping onto the table from both participants.
Viewers back home having FOMO, wishing they were doing this challenge. I'm sure the players at this point might happily tap them in.
I wonder if any viewers have figured this one out.
Kevin R. erasing everything once again for what feels like the 20th time.
Someone will be the next person voted out of Can You Survive Tides at War? Brad hoping to make sure it's not him.
Brad now putting some dashes next to some letters here. Hoping maybe that'll be a little organizational trick. Immediately deletes them, so maybe not.
All right. I'm going to confirm some information for both of you to help move this along.
Our benevolent host, Kim.
The first letter of the word we are looking for is M. Let's see if that unlocks anything.
There's now being told the first letter of this word is
M. A lot of
M.
writing going on Kevin's board now.
It is an 8-letter word. They only have 7 letters left to figure out. Practically done already, I would say, with that. Let's maybe get an over-the-shoulder view, because why not? I'm running out of things to say, so I'll just give you different angles.
A recap of some of the words we've seen. Wicked, Portland, Pinecone, Ambush, Immunity. Do we have a check?
Kevin now asking for a check on this side.
Has won Immunity.
Yes.
And gets it with the word military.
Oh,
High fives
Let's
all
go.
around. Challenge. They are very happy to be winning.
Brutal.
Wow,
All
that's
right.
incredible effort by everyone competing here. Quaddy and Grindel will be heading to tribal councils. I'm sorry, no. Quaddy and Nedick. That's my bad.
Dominant victory with 3 players left at the end of that challenge. Grindel, come get your immunity idol here. Who's going up? Cam,
All right, a
Dan, Kevin.
little group
Oh,
coming on
Sharon
over.
in. Katie and Bennett joining. Unfortunately,
Players lining up as though I'm taking a photo, but I'm just live.
back to them. Stay there.
They're ready for their close-ups. We've got Bennett, Katie, Kevin, R, Cam, and Dan feeling really victorious with that immunity idol in their hands.
Okay. All right, and one final order of business here for Grindel. As the winners, 2 of you can stay to compete in our Journey Challenge.
You can? Does that mean have to?
Have to stay and compete in our Journey Challenge. Thanks for confirming. So we're going to need you to select 2 people. They're going to go head-to-head. Option to give someone a disadvantage.
I'll go.
Bennett has volunteered. Okay, Bennett and Katie are going to go. They'll go with Declan.
Okay.
And get prepared while the rest of you can go back to camp.
All right, so Katie and Bennett will be heading on out to a Journey mini challenge momentarily. We'll come to you live with Declan as host and Albie as your live streamer. Kind of interesting thinking process now that it's just one tribe sending 2 players off to a mini challenge. That does leave a group of 2 at the challenge with a group of 3 back at camp. So conversations could maybe be happening on either side. If you're Katie and Bennett, perhaps you're a little nervous that a 3 is going to be going. And TBD on whether this Katie v. Bennett mini challenge will turn into a bonding sesh or continuing to fuel the conflict they have together. So tune in about, I'm going to guess between 5 and 10 minutes for this next journey, and that will be followed by a tribal council. If I had to guess, maybe in about 20 to 25 minutes here. So we're going to go take a rest. All the players are going to get some water and head into the shade because it is a scorcher out here, and we will be back hydrated and hopefully a little cooler very soon.